you take a class on the history of Western architecture and design, they start with Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Then they move on to the Middle Ages, which starts in Italy and spreads throughout Europe. The style that evolves is known as Baroque. Think St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Created trends, but that's getting ready to change with a series of kings known as Louis XIV, XV, and XVI. Louis XIV, who reigned from 1643 to 1715, was known as the Sun King and the king responsible for Versailles. During his 72-year reign, Louis XIV took Baroque designs that had previously been found in churches and applied them in his palace, using highly ornate interiors with lavish paintings, statues, marble, carvings, gold, and a play on light and dark that created spaces designed to impress and awe, reinforcing his image of power. Branding like never before. Is anyone not impressed by the Hall of Mirrors? If you think that is just what all palaces look like, that's because all the other rulers copied his look. Louis XV, who reigned from 1715 to 1774, was his great-grandson who inherited the throne when he was only 5 years old. His nickname was the Well-Beloved, for a number of reasons, one of which was because he was popular with the ladies. His 59-year reign saw changes to Baroque, sometimes called late Baroque, but usually known as Rococo. More curved shapes, including cabriole legs, more delicate designs, ornamentation based on shapes found in nature, like leaves, flowers, shells. Asymmetry like this C shape. Lighter colors and more playful, comfortable, feminine styles. Louis XV had two very famous mistresses, Madame de Pompadour and Madame de Barry. Their very feminine tastes influenced the styles of the period. This piece here may have been a jewel coffer commissioned for Madame de Barry. Louis XVI, who reigned from 1774 to 1789, was his grandson and was married to Marie Antoinette. His nickname was Louis the Last. We all know what happened to them. By the time Louis XVI came to the throne, design was heavily influenced by the discovery of Pompeii, resulting in neoclassical style with straight legs, fluting, urns, busts, medallions, swags of laurel leaves and ribbons. Although the style had started in the middle of the century, it had not really influenced the court until Marie Antoinette, who loved the latest styles. She thought the palace looked. Napoleon had declared himself emperor, and the new period was called Empire. I know it looks like empire, Empire. And it morphs into a new type of neoclassical. Touches I always notice are the dominance of laurel wreaths, a reminder of Roman emperors, and swans, one of the Empress Josephine's favorite motifs. Since Napoleon's army had invaded Egypt, the neoclassical style now had Egyptian influences and had become more bulky and massive, rather masculine, and the rise of a more affluent middle class. France bumped along under, you had Gothic revival, Baroque revival, Rococo revival, Neoclassical revival. A bit redundant. This is a Louis XIV armchair or fauteuil. Notice the height at the back, the squareness of the frame, the stretcher under the seat, how the arms extend all the way to the front of the seat. Because it is Baroque, we have heavy carving. This Rococo Louis XV armchair has a more delicate scale with curved cabriole legs and arms that end well before the edge of the seat and swoop toward the front corner of the chair. That made it easier for ladies to sit in their expansive skirts. The chairs no longer needed stretchers and have a decidedly more feminine feel. This neoclassical Louis XVI armchair has retained the delicate scale and shape, but now has straight legs with fluting mimicking classical columns. This Empire armchair has the Empress Josephine's favorite swans, and this one feels Egyptian. Baroque size, married to the curved leg that will become Rococo. And the stretcher's gone. And here's a chair with neoclassical straight legs and a round Rococo back. This series of commodes, what we might call chests of drawers, again shows styles changing. The one on the far left is Rococo Louis XV, with a curved body and the curved cabriole legs. The one on the far right is neoclassical Louis XVI, with straight body and column-like legs. The one in the middle is a combination of the two styles. It still has the curved cabriole legs, but the chest is very straight and neoclassical. Here is an Empire chest of drawers, visually heavier and more solid looking, with a laurel crown.